As I was getting ready to record this morning and make a video, I went in with a completely different plan than what I'm going with. I just went in with a completely different plan. I was going to continue talking about even more reason for the Chargers to go tackle with the fifth pick or just trade back. But then I found something else, that there is a player on your team, a newly signed free agent, that is absolutely elite according to the coaches in one very specific and one very important area. So I did some research to find out if that was true, and it indeed was. So we're going to talk about that and just a little idea of how this new, not only coaching staff, but GM, Horitz, and all of that kind of stuff, Hortiz, how he is viewing this and what that looks like. You ever notice I always mess up his name? Makes no sense. But anyways, before we get into it even more, as you can see, hey, I'm wearing a Lions shirt. So we are Lions fans. We have another channel. It's called Sports Talk Detroit. But we live in Michigan. We love that, man. And it's always been easy to root for the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers and Lions organizations, unfortunately, have a lot of similarities, the weather not being one of them. But hey, you're over there on the West Coast. As I like to say here in Michigan, we're on the Fresh Coast. That's dumb. I don't know why I said that on the air. That was dumb. Anyways, who is this key free agent and what do they do so well? And I'm going to tell it to you, but hang in here with me, because it's the not exciting moves that win you football games if you get them right. And a couple of coaches have been raving out key offensive free agent Will Dissly. And he talks about Will Dissly and his ability specifically to do something. This is from Daniel Popper of The Athletic. And Dissly, as you can see, inked a 3-year, $14 million deal in the offseason with LA. That's $10 million guaranteed. So this really is a 3-year contract, most likely. Now, I mean, it's not. I mean, you could easily cut him after 2. But here's what he said he's amazing at. You're talking about one of the 3 guys in the league, 3 guys, I wonder who the other 2 are, that can own the C gap, period. In other words, blocking on the outside of the offensive line, in run blocking, or quite frankly, keeping him in as an extra pass blocker. You see a lot of teams, the Detroit Lions love doing this, that will bring in a 6th offensive lineman or a 3rd/swing tackle, and they will bring him in for plays that are obviously running plays, and every once in a while they run a trick off that. If you have, according to the Chargers coaching staff and tight ends coach Andy Bischoff, only 3 tight ends that can own the C gap, then you are now able to do something that 29 other teams are not able to do, which is you can leave your tight end, Will Dissly, in and still have a run or pass play with equal effectiveness. That's a big deal. I want you to think about this. If you're in a goal-to-go situation, let's say you're on the 3-yard line, and you want to run the ball. Well, if you're most teams, you realize that leaving your normal tight end out there is going to be a disadvantage in the run blocking scheme. So a lot of times what teams will do is if you want to run the ball, they'll bring in a fullback, they'll bring in an extra offensive lineman, and maybe move the tight end out. But it kind of signifies what you're doing. Now, if you run it well, teams still struggle to stop it. And of course, you always will have that extra tackle report as eligible and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, a swing tackle is not as effective as a tight end in the passing game, and he is not nearly as effective of a threat in the passing game. So if you can leave your tight end in there and he can block as efficiently as a tackle, well, there you go. Like, that is a big, big advantage. So I went, and here's the deal. You can watch tape and you can see Will Dissly. You can look at his size. You can look at his numbers. You can look at the fact that he's 6'4", 265. All right. Like, yeah, he's a big boy. He's, by the way, only 27 years old. It'll be his year 28 season, and I understand that. But, you can look at all that stuff, and that's fine. All right. You can look at all that stuff. I also could look at, his numbers at the combine. Back in 2018, his bench press was not impressive. His weight was. All right. By the way, this is his RAS. It's not good. Okay. That's why Will Dissly is never going to be just this massive vertical threat. All right. But it's hard to tell just by those raw things, like what is the true effectiveness of a player. And that is where I believe, I know PFF can skew numbers and stats, but that's where I believe you can look at PFF and have a pretty good understanding of, did they secure the block or didn't they, more often than not. And he came out with a run grade, a run blocking grade of 77.2 last year. 77.2. I just want to be very clear on that. All right? And a blocking grade of 77.2. To give you an idea, Rashawn Slater's blocking grade last year was 76.6 with a run blocking grade of 59.5. If you look down your offensive line, Pipkins was graded at a 62.8, Sawyer at a 54.2, Bozeman at a 62.2, and Johnson at a 57.6. For reference, Parham Jr. was graded at a 59.7. Now, anything above a 70 is considered a very good, almost starting level. It is starting level. It's better than starting level grade. Anything over 70. Will Dissly comes in with a run blocking grade and blocking grades that are far better. And it makes you wonder to yourself, like, okay, what are we looking at with this guy? And it's impressive. He has, by statistical numbers, been the best blocker on this team if he played on this team last year. This is the kind of guy that can help you. It can absolutely help you. He can come in, play a little bit of that kind of fullback type role if you need him to, be a lead blocker to an extent. I love what this does. This is a guy who does all the dirty work. He does all the dirty work. And this is a guy that is in high demand around the league, but at the same time, you can get him at a very affordable price. I understand a lot of people look at the contract with Dissly and they're like, man, is he worth $4 million a year, or more, like a 4.5 or whatever it is? And the answer is absolutely yes. He is absolutely worth that. Brock Wright just got offered a 3-year, $12 million or $11 million contract with the 49ers. The Detroit Lions matched it. Brock Wright is known as a number 2 tight end who comes in as a blocking tight end. That's what he's supposed to be good at. His run blocking grade through the year is in the 50s. Like, that's what you're usually looking at, and Will Dissly is elite. I want you to hear me use that word, elite at blocking for a tight end, period. And that is a really, really good thing to have on your team. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. We want to be your go-to source for Chargers content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.